Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling. Another glorious day here at Aqueduct, Belmont, at the Big A.
It's amazing out today. This is the last gasp of summer. Summer trying to hold on.
Why is it the last gasp? We're still summer.
It's summer till Wednesday?
Yeah, it's usually nice until at least sometime in October.
Yes, Andy, I know. But what I'm saying is, as summer ushers itself out,
Ushers itself. What are we waxing poetic here? Or
we are.
Summer ushering itself out. It's a nice day today, and I look forward to having a few more nice days before it gets cold in December.
Well,
we still got time. I mean, we show up here in November. It's usually pretty nice.
We're a long way from December, my friend.
Right. So we got a lot of good stuff going on here. A lot of good racing to go. We got a nice field for the Pebbles today.
We do.
We have some interesting maidens running today.
Fun card today.
Can play them all through Naira Bets. Head on over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200. We will match for $200 of your initial deposit. We have the bet 200, get $20. I just opted in for this free money here.
Nobody told you.
At least 200. They did, but I just didn't pay as much attention as I probably should have.
Okay.
Anyway, you get that $20 bonus, so opt in for that. A little free money. We also have the show 12:30 to 6, covering the races from here at the Big A and Churchill Downs. So some interesting racing there as well. Upsets. Both those Asmussen favorites in the 2-year-old races did not run particularly well in there.
Good to see our friend Tom Amos get the money.
Yeah, nice win for Tom in yesterday's race. And the most points to the Kentucky Derby at this point. See if that matters. And of course, we'll get to hear the most important thing. It's proven that he likes it at Churchill Downs. Because that's perhaps the stupidest thing that people say in racing. You ever notice they really like it at Churchill Downs, except when they don't? It's kind of like how turf horses apparently do well in their dirt course, except that they don't.
People say that?
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
I never heard that one.
The Churchill Downs dirt course is kind to turf horses.
That's great.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
I used to think of that. I used to think that, and it was that case for a while on the inner track here. Turf horses didn't perform okay on the inner track here. If they performed well on any kind of dirt course, it was explained to me too by one of our older
somebody who probably blew his brains out playing the horses.
One of our older track superintendents. Why?
Yeah, I don't believe any of that crap.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Poor little Alpha the inner track.
Well, yes, but the fact that we now have a second turf course.
You know what? The horses like the horses that like the turf horses that like the inner track. They love the turf now.
They can run in the inner turf or the outer turf, the new outer turf. Race number 1. Interesting maiden race coming up in race number 1. And I think for me, one of the problematic things was if you were interested in either Ohana Honor or even the first time starter, Big Wicks, what could be worse value than an entry for West Point?
Nothing.
I mean, so they're 4 to 5. They're obviously going to, I would assume they're going to drift up unless there's a big story on, Big Wicks cost $575. Ohana Honor ran okay, picking up the piece for second behind Bourbon Bash, who did not run well in the slop in the Hopeful. But I'm not going to take a short price on this entry.
No. I put him second, but no, I'm with you. I don't want a short price on this entry.
So
Ohana Honor ran well enough first time out, but
wasn't that good a race.
No, it wasn't that good a race.
Picking pieces down towards the inside, so you've got expected value on top.
Yeah, I went to expected value. I just felt like, despite the effort of Echo again yesterday, Echo again was very good the day he broke his maiden, and I thought this horse ran okay. Looked like he may have needed the first race, and now he stretches out. He gets an extra quarter of a mile, and the race under his belt. I just thought he made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like the 3 Skellig in here. This horse was really bet off the board and did not do much running. I did feel like it was maybe a little bit of an overconfident ride, or maybe Joel had reason to be confident and the horse just had absolutely nothing. But I wonder if they'll be more aggressive today with him. You know, you would think stretching out to a mile, they would want to be a little more aggressive with him, because when the horse gets bet like that, you would think you'd be more forward. And they just were kind of like lollygagging around. Now listen, maybe he's just not that good, and that could be the case. You've got a couple of interesting horses for Todd Pletcher in here, starting with Point Proven. Point Proven ran 7th. Krupe was the other half of the entry, ran 3rd. Krupe came back and not surprisingly didn't run that well in a subsequent start. But Point Proven was the one they were betting. He was the one there was a story on.
Yep.
Now, I think it's interesting because think about yesterday with that.
It's the second time it happened.
Well, right.
They ran an entry, and the other part of the entry outperformed.
And the other one was Expressman.
Yep.
Expressman came back and
got a nice call yesterday, by the way. You got some price on that horse. You never should have got that price on that horse.
Well, they're overbetting 1 number horses, but regardless of that, that horse did not run well yesterday, and it sort of makes me wonder. But this horse, now this was supposed to be the good one. This horse was awful. I mean, literally,
This horse stunk.
Irad was asking this horse, and he just had nothing. But I mean, it's hard to believe for Todd Pletcher that there was that much
that horse ran that badly.
smoke. There's no fire at all.
I agree.
And I mean, you've got him nowhere.
Well,
I've got him third. But listen, maybe he just stinks. I don't know. But they liked this horse.
I felt like I liked expected values race. I thought one part of this entry was going to run, right? You have Skellig. I thought Phelpsy,
Why?
well, Phelpsy was chasing a fast enough pace.
That was a bad race.
I know it was a bad race. But
Bad race.
You don't think a little more distance is going to help him as well? And I'm
hope
going
it
to tell you
does.
what, he's going to be.
I hope something helps him.
He's going to be a big price.
Chad Brown's going to be a big price.
This horse is going to be a big price.
Okay.
This horse might be the longest shot on the board. How about that? Because they're going to bet the entry.
Maybe
they're
he
gonna
should
bet the other chat, and maybe he should be. I don't disagree with that. But there's two Todds that would bet well first
Well,
time
I think
out.
Montepulciano is actually dangerous in here. There's not a lot of pedigree on this one. A Calbred. They bet this horse first time. He ran off in a fast pace. He gets to the dirt. I mean, maybe he can run a little
You know
bit.
what's
I'm
funny
not
about
a
him?
fan
I
of his,
know
but-
not this time stands for 75,000. They pay 210 for this horse. But you're right. The very little pedigree for a horse to spend. I mean, that's a decent amount of money for a horse that doesn't have. I mean, you're basically buying the sire.
Well, the second dam is a dirt horse. The first family is terrible.
It's an interesting race. The first race is a very interesting race.
I agree. See what happens going a mile. This is one of two divisions, right?
Yeah, fun race. Fun card today. I really like this card today.
No, this is not divisions because the other one are fillies. This one's Colts because usually we run fillies on Sunday. We got all kinds of stuff going on here. Look at this.
Wow.
Man Frank over
That's
there.
bright.
Well, there's a lot of color going on there. Well, you got to accentuate the color when you go to our favorite racetracks.
Accentuate's the right word there.
When I look at the second race
It's not the first.
and I see Shamalama Ding Dong running, and we'll take a look at Shamalama Ding Dong, one of her shining moments when
Could it
she
be
finished second over a year ago. This
Could be
is,
Johnny I's favorite name to call. He loves calling this horse.
that makes me think of my friend John McCarthy.
Okay.
I say one thing: if she runs this race, she's going to win.
She'll win.
But a little hard to believe that this race really
Exists
is going to be a
anymore?
representation of who she is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. This was one of those races where
There's not a lot going on in this race because basically, you've got Sweeter who hasn't run forever. Chris Engelhardt's numbers in New York off long layoffs are not particularly effective at Naira, that is. And you got True Empress. We both went to True Empress because she just seems like she's the best dirt horse in the race.
best hops to drop. She's the best dirt horse in the race.
She's dropping off a cliff too. But,
Yeah, she has for sale.
in other words, she's running mid-50 buyers. So where's she supposed to go?
Nowhere.
She's just not very
where
good.
she belongs.
Yeah.
She's where she belongs.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the one thing about Shamalama Ding Dong is her speed makes her dangerous. She can be more forward if she can still run.
If
And
she
that
can still
make her
run,
tough.
she'll be in front in here.
But I'd like to think that Eric will be a little more aggressive with True Empress and at least get her into the game. She actually made a little bit of a move last time. Did not run that well, though, in her last race, and that's probably why they finally gave up. They realized, how is she going to be competitive in those not-winners-of-one races?
I agree.
Time to move on. Race number 3. Race number 3 has 2 Chad Brown horses. We'll start with Kinshin, and we'll show Kinshin's last race. And the funny thing about this horse, who's named, if you don't know, for Jonathan Kinshin's father, who passed away not that long before this horse ran, actually, I believe. I don't like this horse's first race. I know the winners turned out to be okay, but Vagaries has been terrible, and a lot of horses weren't good out of that race, and that's a race that really collapsed. Now, you might say, well, then she ran second, she beat McCulloch. Okay. Sailby, who won the race, is turning. She's in the Pebbles today, and she's not done too much. Leave this up for a second, if you don't mind. Thanks. I know she beat McCulloch, but McCulloch got hurt in that race. So I don't know what to do with her. Chad has unreal numbers off of turf layoffs. I mean, he's 33% with 154 stars with all of them. You take it down to maidens, the numbers are even better. These horses come back running. I just feel like this horse is going to take an awful lot of money, stake-faced, and I'm not really sure that she's that good.
She also has 0 speed.
Correct.
0 speed.
She is not. She is not fast.
And that, I think, is part. I think that's also problematic. She can absolutely win this race. You know, with that said, you have some fillies in here who have run as 3-year-olds now.
So you're going on the Jose Cameo bandwagon? Is that what we're doing here?
I picked a couple of Jose Cameo horses today. This filly ran against Colts last time. And now she's back in against fillies today, and she is gone from the inside draw.
Well, no, she's not if Luis Saez wants to be aggressive with Free Chickens, who's actually very quick. So she's not really gone. It's a question of how they ride Free Chickens. If Louis wanted to have the lead with Free Chickens, he could be in front of her. I mean, she's not gone. The 4 is fast, if not faster. Now, we'll see how they ride them, but the 4 has Luis Saez and has speed. So let's not get carried away. She's not gone if he wants to go.
I thought she'd be gone. I'll tell you what, it bothered me about, they didn't send Free Chickens last time.
Okay, but they're supposed to send here. It was also a much faster pace last time. I'm not saying that the 1 won't be in front, but it is absolutely not a certainty she will be because the 4 is faster. And if the 4, I mean, okay, they didn't send her last time. It also let me just say, now let me finish. It didn't work. So maybe they should be sending her.
Maybe.
You know,
Maybe.
the 1 may have the lead in here. I'm not standing on some, but to pretend that the 4 isn't naturally quicker is a mistake. She's not that fast, Whiskey Lullaby. She's in front in slow paces.
I thought she was going to get loose in here.
Well, she's front in slow paces and she has the rail, but the 4 is faster. We'll see. I don't know. I guess she's not impossible. I didn't like her, but okay.
She's going to be a better price than the 2 Chad horses. I mean, I get Veronica Green ran well enough last time, but
the 1 can win this race. I'm not. Well, look at Veronica Green's last race, and you can. What do you want to say?
Shouldn't she have won?
Yes, I bet her. I felt like she should have won. I agree. I felt like she was grinding along, and she wasn't hanging, but she was grinding along and just not getting there. No, I agree. I bet her. I didn't think she had any excuse. I thought she got an absolutely terrific ride by Irad.
David has her 2-1. She'll probably be close to that, if not a tick shorter.
Well, I think that it'll be interesting to see how they bet it. I would imagine Kinshin's going to be favored, but I'm not sure.
You know what's funny, though? Kinshin's never really taken any serious money for a Chad Brown horse named after a...
Well, wait a second.
4-1 and 3-1?
I don't think the horse is going to get bet because it's named after John's father. I don't really think the name is going to... But this horse was in a very big maiden race first time out. Vagaries, they liked Vagaries at the time. There was somebody else in there they liked. I don't know. It would be interesting. I don't know. It's hard. Maybe it depends on how they're working and people know. I'm going to bet Rosia Bay. I don't love Rosia Bay. I thought her first race was good, though. I thought she ran well behind Walkathon and other horses that came back and ran well. She did not run particularly well last time out. But now she's out for 3 months after that race. So it does make me wonder if something went wrong, whether she was sick after the race or she had some minor issue and Cherie brings her back. She draws well towards the inside and puts blinkers on. Makes me think Javier is going to do a good job of at least getting position with her because she hasn't shown a lot of speed. I don't love the 7. I don't disagree with you on the 8. I bet the 8 last time. I felt like I should have gotten the money. She could, like you say, she could absolutely win. But she should have won that race.
She should have won.
I know it was close, but she should have won. She should have won. Chad Brown horses like that, they win. You know, so, and
when
I
they
hear you
don't
with the
win,
Kilo
when they start piling the losses up,
well,
she went to the turf.
She only has 1 turf.
Right, but she went to the turf. He debuted her on the dirt. He ran out twice on the dirt. He's not a guy to give horses races either. So he has them ready to roll.
It's a little more complicated with this horse running on the dirt versus turf. So I think you have to evaluate horses sometimes a little bit differently depending on connections. Race number 4. Number 4 is a tricky race. Really a tricky race, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did I do? I got a video of your horse.
Taco Bean.
Colloquy.
Colloquy.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is another...
This is a win, by the way, in May.
This is kind of like the second race here. This horse is just dropping in. He hasn't had as many chances to disappoint as the rest of these horses for the most part. I mean, he was in way over his head 2 starts back. I know it was the same condition, but the race from last time to the time before, I mean, Montebello and Price Discipline are a different galaxy than
all the horses he ran against last time are better than this too.
Oh, no, they're all better. I'm just saying, he's faced so much better in his last 2 races, namely 2 starts back.
He's just not very good, though. He could win.
He's not much horse.
He's not much horse. He's never run particularly well. I mean, the win he had there, he'd not beat a particularly good field. I will say last time, he got bumped pretty hard by the 6 horse coming out of the gate at the start last time. The horse kind of slammed into him. I think that hurt him a little bit. I don't think he did much running. I thought he got a very good ride by Dylan after that. He saved ground, angled out into the stretch, and maybe you want to be away from the rail in the stretch. There's no clear evidence. I don't know. Christophe, how about this one? First time for a tag in the dirt in a sprint. 4 for 23, 17%, 96 cent ROI. He has better numbers in routes for what it's worth. I guess he could win. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'm going to give Taco Bean another chance.
You love Taco Bean.
Well, I don't think you'll disagree that it was surprising he got involved in the 3-horse duel.
I was stunned he was anywhere near that pace.
Now, to be fair, he was in the duel with Moonshine and Bright, who actually finished ahead of him. Moonshine and Bright didn't have much choice. He always goes.
Right.
He's got to deal with Nicholas James today, who
Correct.
I do think can win. And Nicholas James, I think, he's the same class he was in. Isn't this a far easier field than he was running in last couple of races?
Eminency and top of the mint, absolutely.
On the hill and
Ran
life
into the on the hill
changer.
race, even the Ricochet race on the turf. I mean, he's just running
funny
against better
joke,
horses.
Baltazar. I thought he was kind of the worst to beat. I know he's not the favorite, but
You know what the problem is, Andy? He's got Moonshine and Bright in here. And now we saw Taco Bean on, dueling
Taco
last
Bean
time.
and
Irad
they're not going. Irad's not going.
Right, you would imagine Irad's not going, but the blinkers go back on, and he's drawn down inside.
Who gets the blinkers?
Taco Bean.
Oh, I don't have that.
Yeah, the blinkers go back on, so it was a...
Well, on the other hand, maybe he showed more speed when they took the blinkers off last time. That may be a reason to putting him on.
Could be.
Because maybe they felt that kind of
Maybe he
energized him to go
harnesses it.
forward.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'm more 2-4 with a little 7 in this race. I didn't like anybody else, especially the one scratched in here. I don't know, you've got the 5 in here, Storm Shooter, based on?
This horse is...
No good dirt races?
Earlier last year had a couple of races I thought made him competitive, but I mean, he just might not be able to run anymore.
Well, he's been in some sharp barns.
But at the very least, he's going to get, he should get some pace to run at in here.
I don't think there's going to be the pace that you think there's going to
Okay.
be. I think the pace will be relatively honest, but I don't think they're going to be flying up front.
Okay.
Race number 5.
Break after this?
We will break after this. So 5's got a big favorite here in the number 8 Peace Cruiser. There's nothing wrong with this horse. The only thing I'll say is she was supposed to win first time out. And I know she got beat by a Chad Brown horse, has not come back. She was supposed to win this race. They bet her like they knew. 7 furlongs first time, but the winner was a first-time starter too. And now she's going a mile. She's okay. I really felt like she should have won last time, but I'm not against her.
Yeah, I didn't want to get past. I couldn't get past her. I picked Binsky yesterday, and I thought maybe Binsky could have it. I put Binsky second, but I know she got beat. I hate this. It's one of the things I have learned from you up here. I mean, she's one again.
Nobody has a sign behind us saying they love us, like Frank Mirabati has at Monmouth.
It's Frank's last day at Monmouth.
It's Jennifer. That's a rig. That's a rig.
Wow,
going on
what a
right there.
fugazi this
That
is.
is really a rig. I'm going to come down hard on
Is
that.
his co-host from yesterday there?
Anyway, is his last day at Monmouth?
For this year, it is.
Oh, this year.
Well, I don't know about next year.
I got you.
now.
Okay.
He's kind of
Anyway.
busy. He's kind of busy in August, and July, August, and
but-
September next year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe it is.
God, you'd think they'd be just happy to get rid of him. I'm kidding.
I know you're kidding. He's,
All right. Anyway, Peace Cruiser's fine. Is the horse to beat.
Yeah,
No big
it's the horse to
argument with
beat.
that. I put the entry, and I was thinking about. I did kind of for randomized, but I thought, you know what? If they don't run randomized and they're running the 1A, that's probably a good sign.
Correct.
Now the line is obviously different because the line was a function of the 1 running in here. We'll show you because I know people love the sales workouts. We'll show the sales workout for Tangential, 10 and a fifth. I think it was okay. Feels like I meant to look it up. Chad Brown, the first-time stars, going a mile in the dirt because I was thinking of early voting and some others. I got a feeling this horse might be able to be a runner here to scratch the other horse, so I took a shot. I do not have any story on it.
Okay.
For people that think that I have stories with Chad Brown, I told Chad Brown a couple of days ago that I was going to pick Nabokov, and he basically said, "Okay, good luck." It's not like I have big stories and I don't know anything about Tangential whatsoever.
David put this stat up too, but I mean, obviously Flavien Prat is riding Tangential and
Tangential, yes.
And Manny Franco was named on randomized, and people say, "Oh, well, Pratt was on the 1A." No jockey has won more races for Chad Brown this year than Manny Franco.
Well, I don't think anybody's smart to say anything about it being a negative. Manny rides for him, probably positive. As far as firsters in here, Aniston is a half to super sensational, which I found it kind of odd that they're going long first time. I know it was a Curlin, but I guess that was to be dangerous. The horse that I thought was interesting is on the rail, Treasured Gem. This is a dirt pedigree. Myling was a horse who ran for Mike Hushin.
Yeah,
I think
remember?
Todd may eventually had that horse.
Todd
too.
had it when Mike retired. Yeah.
Right, but it was a Hushin,
Barry
it was
Schwartz
a
horse.
Barry Schwartz Hushin horse.
Yeah.
This is really a dirt pedigree, and I think that horse could be very interesting in there. You just can't get away from Binsky, who comes out of that awful slow race.
Second time Linda, curling out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare, getting the mile. I mean, that was that weird race when they came off the turf late in the day.
Slow.
Listen, that's fine. I'm not saying it wasn't, but the Linda horses ordinarily aren't ready first time out. Now this horse is a curl out of a Medaglia d'Oro. He's going to get a mile. I don't know. This horse is going to be a little bit of a price too.
Okay. All right. See what happens. I thought these races, males and females, in the 2 mile races are pretty interesting. The second half of the card, which is also pretty interesting, will be coming up after a quick break.
Almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Sterling. We're presented by our good friends at Saratoga Water. We are working on getting bottles. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. It's just a through us because we have them at Belmont.
My pen's the right color.
There you have it. Race number 6. Apparently everybody likes the same horse in race number 6, Going in Style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I just think
everybody likes this horse.
People are kind of riding the Cameo bandwagon a little bit. He's had a good deal of success with the horses he's brought to New York. This horse called a sloppy track last time out. Broke a step slow. It wasn't too much.
I thought this horse broke a 1 length plus slow. I actually thought this horse broke reasonably slow. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Came running late. Another horse is going to get an extra quarter of a mile today. And
it was a terrible race this horse comes out of.
Yeah, it was a slow race.
Big gallop out. Big gallop out by this horse. I get it. It just felt like every time I turned around, every handicapper I saw liked this horse.
Really?
And which means you're not getting 5 to 1.
No, of course not.
I don't know what to do with Forbidden Secret. I don't know if I can trust that figure last time out. I don't know where the Ken McPeak got that number. She improved 20 points, but the horse that Ken McPeak won the Goldenrod with, and we can show Forbidden Secret's last race. The horse that won the Goldenrod yesterday, she improved 20 by her points, and then she turned around and she won the Goldenrod her next, or whatever it was, the Iroquois, the Pocahontas.
Iroquois. Oh, Pocahontas.
So keep track of whichever stakes they're moving around.
Well, the problem here is I think it's the same problem with Veronica Green. She should have won.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she wants the horses just better. She ran a 68 buyer. I mean, she ran fast. I guess. I'm not getting creative. I'm 5s and 6. I guess 6 can improve.
There was nothing really, from what I remember, I have a different form. From what I remember, there was nothing really to get too creative with here.
Not that I saw.
Right.
There weren't really much better. I thought the most interesting first-time starter was Weekend Tizzy, actually. Bernardini didn't cost that much money.
Towards the outside.
I don't know. Kevin Boniface shipping up here with a Kentucky bred to run in our RNA races. I thought this was sort of interesting. He doesn't run too many horses up here, does he?
No.
Maybe taking advantage of the situation. I mean, I understand it's a good situation with these
big
RNA races,
but
still, I mean, you got to ship up here and run. Got to be somewhat positive. The horse that may take some money that's completely...
There's a mile work on the card, too.
I know. I saw that 3 works back.
Yeah.
That's kind of ridiculous is Ia. I mean, this is one of my favorite... This is a video we're showing.
Showing it for yourself.
One of my favorite. Normally I show them for races that you or I took tough beats in. In this case, this was not.
The winner's going to be 5th at around the 3/8 pole.
The winner is the horse with the blue hat that's getting passed here.
How this horse won is just, I mean,
this is an embarrassment for Ia. And it certainly has to reasonably make you wonder how far this horse wants to go. I will say one thing,
that's the biggest thing you take from it, right?
She is the speed.
This horse just, I mean, she stopped.
This was unbelievable.
She just, right there. You literally saw the moment where it was just like, stop a Reno.
Yeah, this was
next stop is
my favorite result of the whole Saratoga meet.
7/8 was a little.
But the horse could be the controlling speed here, depending on the firsters. Though I don't think that. Well, Forbidden Secret's not that fast, but she'll be close to her.
No, maybe one of the firsters has some speed. I mean, that was some choke job.
That was special. Yeah. I thought race number 7 was an interesting race. You've got horses coming from different directions, and I think there's probably 5 contenders in this field.
1, 2, 3, 5, 8.
Well, I have a question. We'll show Angelica.
Okay.
who got very lucky to beat beat Bejewel last time, who I bet on. How do you have Angelique on top and Bejewel not in the top 4? You have to explain that to me.
Well, I feel like Bejewel and the getting away slowly. I don't like when these horses start breaking slowly. Five-year-old man now.
Right, but she ran a better race than the 8. It's fine. You like the 8 who's switching away from Mike Dubb to the Cantermachi barn.
And dropping. These are horses I never ordinarily pick.
But you have this one on top and you don't have the 1. Now, I think the 1's a more likely winner than the 8. I think it's relatively close to a coin flip. The 1 did run a better race last time. I think she's okay. I don't like either one of them. I thought it was a bad race.
I know you don't.
I thought it was a terrible race. And Violent Point was 3rd, Anthony. The Cantermachi barn is not, they don't have great numbers to claim in the turf. They've claimed they have 3 horses off the claim in turf sprints. None have won, but actually 2 of them finished second at 5-1 and like 6-1 or something. So they actually have run. I'm not a particular fan of that horse. I thought she just won a hungry race last time. That was my feeling.
I probably should have picked a 3.
Yeah,
That's what I probably should have done.
Well, we will get to the 3 since you brought her up. I'm going to bet Athwak. I know I bet her last time. And this was my biggest faux pas of the meet because the winner was a super logical horse.
You should have made money here.
And the exact paid $93 for $1. And this was my single biggest mistake of the meet because I had the right horse with Athwak.
It's not bad for it to be the next to last day of the meet, by the way. It's pretty good.
Well, but it cost me a lot of money. But that's the nature of the game. You got to do the right things. You got to play right. You got to be sharp. And listen, when you lose and it's your own fault, it's tougher to take and easier to take. I'm mad at myself, but it's not like I got a bad trip or anything. I just blew it betting. Right. Athwak has run very well sprinting before. Now, she's obviously not going to see the speed here, but I looked it up, and she has actually won rating before.
Okay.
I think that she's the best horse in this race. I don't totally trust her without the lead. She's 12-1 last time. She's going to be a fraction of that price today, but I do think she's the best horse, and she has the local form, and I agree with you on the 3. I was between the 2 and 3. I went to a horse with more local form, but I'll tell you something. Mucha Mezquina, we'll take a look at her race 2 back. What worries me about her is this is a rider who has too frequently not done a good job of keeping position in turf sprints. Now, there are times recently he's done a much better job of that. I worry that she may get lost a little bit. That was what worried me.
He's ridden her and had her on the lead.
Well, she's not going to be on the lead here.
But no. What I'm saying is, at the very least, you're saying in the turf sprints. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
No, I'm saying in turf sprints.
Her better races
listen,
are
there are
when
times that Eric's been very good
her
in
better
these races, but he
races-
has to be more attentive to that.
Her better races are when she is forward, overall.
She's got to be somewhere.
She's got to
forward.
be somewhere close.
Because if she's not, she gets lost in a race, and you get lost in these. But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I picked Angelinka, by the way, because I do believe and the reason ultimately I did not pick Mucha Mezquina is I believe the 2 and the 8 are the 2 best horses in the race, and I just picked the horse that was going to be the better price.
Well, I'm not sure. Okay. I do think It's a Keeper is a little interesting here. She has run some races against better horses. My problem is she has not done any running at any point in any race. And I actually thought about picking her because she's kind of a stranger of the group. The only race she won, she'd apparently been working very well off a layoff. She got an unbelievable trip for Dillon, and then she has managed the rest of her career to stink in all of her races.
She has not been good.
And she's carrying that albatross, Rob Masiello, around. I saw Rob towards the end of the meet in Saratoga.
I did too.
It's nice to see him.
It's good to see him. Yeah. Broke through the gate last time.
Better if he bought me dinner or something.
She
but it still
broke
wasn't
through the
bad
gate
seeing
last
him.
time, which is ordinarily not a good sign, especially as this.
She didn't run off though.
No,
she didn't run
I
off.
know.
She didn't have any.
I know.
She didn't run off. I don't know that it was anything. Listen, she can win. I thought about putting her higher. I probably, frankly, should have put her 4th because I don't like the horse that you picked, but I get it.
All right.
Race number 8. Race number 8. A couple of scratches. Linda didn't think Curlin's Wisdom. This was a good race to run on the dirt. Linda.
I thought Curlin's Wisdom had a giant shot in here.
I didn't, but still, I don't know what race she's going to find that's better for him. We'll show the Dr. Blute race from last time out, and this was a very tough loss if you bet Dr. Blute. I wonder.
What do you wonder, Andy?
I wonder if this Dr. Blute, the new Dr. Blute, is going to continue.
I think that's a fair ponderance.
Because this is a very different Dr. Blute than we used to see.
Mm-hmm.
This was some beat. Wow.
Yeah.
This was some beat. The winner of the one was like 3-5, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even bet this horse, and watching this race makes me sick. You know what I mean? I feel for people that bet horses at prices that lose races like that. I wonder if 42 Ace, and we'll get to him in a second, could put some pressure on him. I don't know. He's the worst to beat.
I couldn't get past him. I wanted to make a 4-2 in here with a little 4-5, and then Linda went and scratched Curlin's Wisdom.
Okay. Well,
Whittington Park was the one way behind Best Idea and Dr. Blute in that August 20th race.
What was his call?
I'm sorry?
What do we like about him?
Oh, no, I just thought he improved second start off the 10 months last time he got LASIK for the first time. I just thought he was, it's not like he ran in a terrible race first off the layoff. I don't know. I just thought he made some sense.
Okay. I have a bit of a thing for 42 Ace. We'll show his last race. I think he ran a race last time that could make him a factor in here, depending on the 4 runs.
You're more of the fig guy than me. Does that fig make any sense to you?
Yes, it does. Why? Quarterman came back and ran 1 point lower in his next start.
Okay.
This horse has run some fast races.
Oh, yeah, he woke up last time.
He didn't wake up. No, he got involved in a wicked pace the race before that, so he had a massive excuse in the race before that. And, you take apart the fact he ran the turf, and then he had a layoff at it. He was running 78, 86s. What he's done is improved since Charlie claimed him. He's just a little dirtied up in his races. I think he's a perfectly logical stalker in this race. But I'm betting Blitz to win.
This was one of the sharpest claims that Charlie's made, by the way, just for the simple fact that the family was looking to get out of the business, and everything was just told to drop.
Right. Well,
he made his hay right away with him.
Joking was a good claim too.
I'm sorry?
Joking was a good claim too.
No, this year.
So was what's your glass ceiling?
This year?
A glass ceiling.
Think about some of the things he's done.
Charlie's great.
Right? For a guy that does not
For a guy who doesn't answer texts, he's really great.
He's never called me back or answered a text either, so don't feel bad.
He doesn't do that. No, I don't feel bad at all. I like Charlie.
It's unbelievable.
Blitz to Win spent almost the whole race in the rail last time, and I don't think he wanted to be right down the rail. Dr. Blute was a little bit off the rail in that race, and I wonder a little bit off the layoff, getting down the rail in Saratoga at that time. This is a horse that has run races that are at least close to fast enough to win the race. Second off a layoff. I cashed a bet yesterday with a horse that had been on the rail in Saratoga in a race. One of the reasons was really the reason I picked it. So maybe this is sort of something to it. And this horse seems to me to be a completely hidden horse here. He'll be the longest shot on the board, and he has races that are comparable. And I'm going to give him a shot, hoping the rail was the wrong place to be last time. Listen, if it wasn't, he's a little tough to defend.
Yes, he is.
The Pebbles. Who rode Pebbles? Ettery or Piggott? Ettery, I think, right?
I want to say it was Pat Ettery, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Lester Piggott rode.
Who rode the second horse?
Lester Piggott rode. It's all Greek.
Who rode this second horse? Strawberry
Royal
Road.
Academy.
Strawberry Road. Strawberry Road ran second. This is the Breeders' Cup at Aqueduct, Anthony.
I was 7. Who rode Strawberry Road?
Steve Cawthon.
Did he really?
Yep. Almost sure of that.
Huh. No, you're
So,
probably right.
race number
Was
9.
Was he Paulson?
I don't know. He may have been, yeah. So we'll take a look at the risk-averse, and we'll look at all the horses coming out of it. A few weeks ago, Gina Romantica, Amore, and Faith and Humanity. I have a very strong opinion that Faith and Humanity ran the best race.
Best race, sure.
She's the one who was closest to a pace that collapsed.
Just made the lead.
She made the first move. She broke the race open. And I think people are going to get excited about Gina Romantica, who made that big burst, but she got a great ride and trip in this race. She ran, I'm not knocking her, but she got a great ride and trip. And I looked at Amore, who was doing sort of no running and came at the end, and I just feel like this race was collapsing at the end. And I think with the scratch of how do you make your money, Faith and Humanity is probably the speed in here. Somebody else wants to go crazy, have at it. She can't rate, but she could be the speed. And I thought that she was the right one in here, so I've got her on top.
Yeah, that should be 8-4-1-12, guys. That's my mistake. 8-4-1-12. I'm sorry. Yeah, she makes a lot of sense. I think if you want anybody out of the race last time, she's the one you want.
I'm going to go back to the Soaring Softly, where Breeze Easy got beaten in the neck, and Sail By was third, beaten a half length in there. I needed her to win her on second. I don't know. She's not very fast, Sail By. But they've decided that she's not a speed horse, and that's a mistake, because the only time she won a big race, she used a pace advantage to do it. But she didn't have the lead in the PG. To be fair, in the Miss Grillo, she stalked I forget if she stalked that day. I don't know, though. Sail By has just been a disappointment. Was she ever that good? But I thought Breeze Easy might be interesting. She got involved in the pace in the small field, 2 back. She did not run well last time, Breeze Easy. She really didn't run well, but I wonder if more distance will help her. So I was going to give her a shot. I want the 4 out of the horses that ran the risk averse, and I want Breeze Easy as the other horse.
Okay.
They're my 2.
Dylan Davis riding Majestic Glory, the 1, by the way.
Well, she is an interesting horse.
She is.
Where's Johnny?
I don't think he's here.
Oh. Because last year, she kept some good company. She actually beat Wild Beauty last year, and Wild Beauty was one of 47 horses that Godolphin has shipped to Woodbine that ran out of their skin. I mean, those horses go to Woodbine, they run like wildebeests. And then Wild Beauty, who did win the Fred Darling back in April, her form has completely dissipated since then. And she hasn't been good. It's interesting to see this horse shipped over for the same connections. Mm-hmm. She's not shipped over for Lasix. It's not as though she was running on super, soft horses,
on heavy ground.
but maybe they thought she'll want firmer course or something. Some weird horse to ship over.
She was
here.
a little interesting. Yeah, it's a curious spot, right?
Well, why? I mean,
unless. Well,
she's a non-winner's a 2. I mean,
I'm wondering if this is a prep for the QE2 at Keeneland.
No, she better run a big race to run the QE2 and get in that race.
No. I'm not saying springboard.
She's not getting into the QE2 unless.
I'm thinking, Andy, that they're thinking to get her here. I don't disagree with you. It's an interesting spot.
No, I don't think it's prep for the QE2, but okay. It never occurred to me. But I suppose everybody could dream. She wins big. I suppose to go there. I don't think they could dream that she's even possibly good enough to run the QE2, but I guess that could change today. I mean, they're all maybe prep for the Breeders' Cup. She ran against good horses. She ran against Innsbruck last year. It was obviously very good, but I don't like her races this year. That work. Did you look at that work, her last work?
No.
You know who she worked in company with?
No.
Wasp.
On the turf?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not sure what it means, but she worked with Wasp. She's dangerous. I've got her 3rd. I don't like the horse you like at all. We'll take a look at her last race. Why do you like Bohemian Club?
I don't know. I thought she was going to get herself a decent little trip today.
Why? But is she good enough to win?
Well, I think the 85 from last time puts her on the money.
Well, she was on a gold rail. She never, ever left the gold rail at any point during the race.
She's improved with every start.
But she never, ever left the gold rail in her last race. So, in my opinion, this last race is completely dressed up. I bet her last time. I'm not, this is not, I guess, that was an okay effort, but these were 2 horses that really took advantage of the way the racetrack was playing. I just thought this was a tougher spot. I thought she was dressed up off of a bias-aided effort last time.
Okay.
We'll see. But, she does have, she's lightly raced. We'll see. Race number 10. Race number 10, there's a lot of speed in this race. A lot of speed in here. So, what about Big Agenda getting a reclaim by Joe Sharp, but not a reclaim for the connections?
Right.
Because this is now Jordan Wyckoff. We'll go back to race 3 back. This horse has been hideous since then. Bad 2 back, awful last time.
Awful last time.
So what do you do?
I think you got to put the horse in the mat, put the horse 3rd. Would you have the horse 2nd?
I don't know where I have.
I think you put a 2nd. I put him 3rd. I mean, you have to respect his overall body of work, right? Especially against these horses, I think. His overall body of work, him and Monarch's Glen kind of crushed these horses on an overall body of work. His recent form is a little suspect. Even the last 2 races from Monarch's Glen a little suspect. So that's part of the reason I picked the Last Zip. I feel like
Why'd you pick the Last Zip?
I think the Last Zip is just getting a little bit better. I do feel like he faced a touch better last time. And again, like I said, overall, the other 2 have a better body of work, but their recent form leaves a little to be desired. So
I took the Last Zip because I thought that Flavian would be aggressive with him. At the very least, get him in position. Not saying he's in front, but I thought that he would benefit from being more forwardly placed.
He used to have plenty of speed.
Right. So I thought that with Flavian riding him, he's a more aggressive rider. He's more attuned to that maybe he'd be a bit more forward. But to be honest, you look at this race, and it's very hard to like anybody because it's hard to know how this race is going to be run. I think Monarch Glen is dangerous. At least he was a little bit out of his element last time, a little bit wide.
We have the same 3 horses in a different order up top. Yeah. It was kind of hard for me to get past one.
Yeah, I didn't really want Montauk Summer, Shady McGee, the chipping in.
I'd feel pretty comfortable with those. If I was closing a pick 4, pick 5, pick 6 with 5, 6, 7, I'd feel pretty comfortable.
I'm going to use Quiet Out East, but his last race was pathetic.
Last race is terrible. But you know the problem. Here's the thing. I'll give you one more for the week. Here's the thing. There are, we can't say that about Big Agenda and Monarch's Glen and then say, all right, well, I'm going to throw Quiet Out East out because
Right,
of how
because
bad
Big Agenda was terrible last
Correct.
time.
That's what I mean. And
Monarch
Quiet Out East
wasn't terrible last
Quiet Out East is going to easily be the biggest price of those
Right,
horses.
that's why it's
Easily
gonna
be the
throw.
biggest price. Yeah.
See what happens? We're done. You are not done.
No.
You're just getting started.
Just
You're going to
getting
head over to
warmed up.
Naira Bets. Use the promo code MATCH200. We will match for $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Keep the money in the game. $20 bonus. All you got to do is opt in for this one. You bet 200 or more at today's card at Belmont at the Big A, and you'll get $20 back. Free money on that one. And last, but certainly least, 12:30 to 6, the crew. We're all together. We're at FS1 today.
Big show.
Oh, big show.
Johnny I's here.
Good thing I dressed properly today.
You dress
Shaved.
properly. You always
I
dress
shaved.
well.
Thank you. I try. Anyway, we're done.
See you Thursday.
See you Thursday. We'll see you Thursday. Well, I'll be out here Wednesday doing a little bit of Churchill, and I'll be covering one from Horseshoe Indy.
Horseshoe Indy.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Made it, by the way.
So I heard it.
That was good.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I won't be able to do it again. Have a great day. Johnny I up next. Reprise Scratches and Changes.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.